for me, I've been able to dissect, my alcoholism, my behavior pretty extensively. I've mentioned several times that my mission in life is to know myself well. Mm-hmm. I want to know me really well, and I'm willing to go to those dark places, and I'm really willing to admit some things that some people may not. Even if the way that I see my life, the way that it turned out, hurts people's feelings, because of certain experiences, especially with like family members and stuff. They don't want to hear the way that their behavior affected me negatively from time to time, even though that's the way that I remember or whatever. But for me, a lack of trust in authority was a huge underlying issue for me. I was a sensitive kid, and I was really loving, I was my mom's cuddle baby, all those things, and the circumstances of my life, like, put me in a position where I couldn't trust the adults in my life. Like, I'd watch them behave in certain ways that weren't in line with what they were telling me to behave. They weren't following up with their own rules. And I could see through all that bullshit. Not just my parents, but teachers, older siblings, all these older people that I was trying to learn how to live from were breaking their own rules. And when I was, maybe 7 or 8, 9 years old, somewhere in there, I went to this grocery store, and I was already stealing by that time, right? I was already taking shit that wasn't mine to try to fill the void that was already created within me. And I knew one of the workers there. He lived in the trailer park, and so we there was another couple of kids that I didn't know that were stealing, right? And this guy, he's like, hey, he pulls us aside, and he's like, hey, these other kids are stealing, and we're gonna bust them in a little bit. And I was like, oh, I don't want that to happen to those kids. And so I went over, and I found those kids that were stealing, and I'm like, hey, these guys are watching you, and they know that you're stealing. And so I would put it back and like, let's get out of here. And so they put the stuff back, and then we left, and they still had some other shit. Like, I didn't know how much stuff they had. They still stole some stuff, but we left and went behind the building and started smoking, and I found trust in a negative crowd, right? And so we were all doing kind of negative. I don't know if negative's the right word, but we were all doing this behavior, and we trusted each other at a level that we didn't get from adults, because the adults were doing all the same shit and telling us not to.